RVs are starting to pop up almost everywhere on Longmont streets, but it's not people camping, it's people living. And now the city's trying to do something to get these homes on wheels to move along.
The American RV lifestyle is changing faster than ever before. Parks are closing their gates. Cities are banning overnight stays. Costs are climbing to record highs. From retirees to full-time travelers, these changes are affecting everyone who calls the road home. Get ready for an eye-opening look at why RV life may never be the same. Let's get rolling. The face of RV living in America is changing dramatically. What was once primarily a choice for adventurous retirees and digital nomads has become a last resort for many priced out of traditional housing. As housing costs soar, more individuals and families are turning to RVs, vans, and other vehicles for shelter. This shift has created new tensions in communities nationwide. Cities are responding with stricter rules, banning overnight parking, limiting street parking, and stepping up enforcement. These regulations affect everyone living in vehicles, whether by choice or necessity, leaving fewer safe and legal places to park. The situation has created an unexpected divide in the RV community. While some parks cater to luxury travelers with high-end motorhomes, those living in older or less expensive vehicles often face rejection from both private parks and public areas. Many people forced into vehicle living struggle to access basic needs like water, showers, and waste disposal facilities. Adding to these challenges is growing stigma. As vehicle dwelling becomes associated with homelessness, even long-term RVers who chose this lifestyle face increased scrutiny and unwelcome attitudes from communities. This has made it harder for all vehicle dwellers to access resources or find welcoming places to stay. Without addressing the underlying affordable housing crisis, this trend is likely to continue. Cities face mounting pressure to balance the needs of their housed residents with those seeking shelter and vehicles, while RV communities grapple with changing perceptions and diminishing options for safe parking. A wave of county and state park closures is hitting the RV community hard, as rising operational costs force more public campgrounds to shut their gates permanently. The recent announcement of Douglas County Park's closure highlights a troubling trend where maintenance costs, staffing needs, and aging infrastructure are overwhelming park budgets nationwide. For RVers, particularly full-timers and budget travelers, these closures eliminate crucial affordable camping options. Public parks have traditionally offered a perfect middle ground, scenic locations with basic amenities at reasonable rates. As these sites disappear, RVers face a difficult choice between expensive private campgrounds or potentially unsafe, unregulated areas. Private campgrounds, while offering more amenities, often charge prices that make long-term stays unsustainable for many RVers. The situation may worsen as increased demand from displaced public park campers puts pressure on private facilities to raise rates or implement stricter booking policies, limiting spontaneous travel options. The impact extends beyond just camping accessibility. County and state parks serve as vital community spaces, providing opportunities for outdoor recreation, wildlife observation, and connection with nature. Their closure represents the loss of shared green spaces that benefit both RVers and local communities alike. Without intervention and investment in public park preservation, the RV lifestyle may become increasingly challenging for those seeking affordable camping options. The current trend threatens to make RV travel, once accessible to many, a privilege reserved for those who can afford premium private campgrounds.
Live right now to San Francisco City Hall, where homeless advocates are celebrating the reversal of a ban on overnight RV parking in the city. The restrictions passed in October allowed the city to tow oversized vehicles if people living inside them reject offers of shelter. Last month, that ban was put on hold after advocates filed an appeal with the Board of Supervisors. Our Kara St. Cyr has the very latest on the decision now overturned.
Cities nationwide are taking decisive action against RV parking in public spaces and residential areas, marking a significant shift in urban parking policies. This trend is highlighted by a recent City Council's unanimous decision to ban RV parking on 30 streets in a densely populated area, reflecting mounting pressure to address community concerns. The surge in long-term RV parking has sparked these restrictions. While some RVers use street parking briefly during urban visits, others have turned to RVs as permanent homes amid rising housing costs. Local residents have voiced concerns about blocked sightlines, increased traffic congestion, waste management issues, and safety, prompting cities to enact stricter parking ordinances. These new regulations create substantial hurdles for the RV community. Urban RVers, who often choose street parking for its convenience and proximity to essential services like grocery stores and laundromats, now face potential fines, tickets, or towing. The situation forces them to choose between crowded campgrounds or risking parking in areas with even tighter enforcement. The parking restrictions highlight a deepening divide within the RV community. Those who chose the lifestyle for travel face different challenges than those living in RVs out of financial necessity. Both groups must now navigate increasingly limited parking options in urban areas. As more cities adopt similar restrictions, RVers must either find alternative parking solutions or push for designated urban parking areas. Without such changes, the freedom and flexibility that once defined RV living may become increasingly constrained. The simplicity of driving an RV with a standard license, regardless of size or weight, has long made RV travel accessible to almost anyone. But this convenience may be changing, with California leading a potential nationwide shift towards stricter licensing requirements for larger recreational vehicles. California's proposed regulations would require special licenses for RVs above certain weight thresholds. These new licenses would be similar to commercial driver's licenses, but specifically designed for recreational vehicles. Drivers would need to pass additional written and practical tests, and possibly undergo medical certifications to prove they can safely handle these larger vehicles. The reasoning is clear. RVs over 26,000 pounds or those with complex towing arrangements demand advanced driving skills for safe operation. However, these new requirements could significantly impact the RV community. Owners would face additional costs for specialized training, license fees, and periodic renewals or inspections. This extra burden might discourage some from purchasing larger RVs or entering the lifestyle altogether. The ripple effects could reach beyond California's borders. Other states, particularly those with heavy RV traffic, may follow suit with similar regulations. This could fundamentally change the RV industry, potentially reducing demand for larger motorhomes and fifth wheels. RV enthusiasts might need to choose between downsizing their rigs or investing time and money in additional certifications. As these regulations evolve, the once simple dream of hitting the road in any size RV may become more complex, requiring careful consideration of licensing requirements across different states. The RV industry is experiencing a significant downturn as rising interest rates and economic uncertainty reshape the market. With RV purchases often heavily dependent on financing, higher interest rates have pushed monthly payments beyond reach for many potential buyers, triggering a sharp decline in sales. This slowdown has forced major manufacturers to scale back operations, with some closing factories and laying off workers. The impact extends beyond manufacturing floors, affecting a broad network of suppliers, dealers, and service providers who rely on a healthy RV market. As orders decline and costs rise, many businesses in the RV ecosystem are struggling to maintain profitability. The industry's contraction could have lasting effects on RV innovation and accessibility. Manufacturers, focused on cutting costs, may reduce investment in new technologies and features that have historically improved fuel efficiency, comfort, and safety. Additionally, lower production volumes could paradoxically lead to higher prices for new RVs as manufacturers try to maintain profit margins with fewer sales. Meanwhile, the used RV market is becoming flooded as owners sell their vehicles due to rising costs and economic concerns. While this creates opportunities for budget-conscious buyers, it's driving down resale values significantly. Current owners face difficulty recouping their investments, potentially discouraging future purchases and further weakening market demand. Without improvement in economic conditions or innovative solutions from manufacturers, these challenges could fundamentally alter the RV industry's landscape, making the RV lifestyle increasingly difficult to access for many Americans. Campgrounds across the country are increasingly implementing age restrictions on RVs, typically refusing to accept vehicles more than 10 to 15 years old. This trend, particularly common at high-end private campgrounds, is creating unexpected challenges for many RV owners who maintain older but well-kept vehicles. The policy, ostensibly designed to maintain campground aesthetics, often ignores the actual condition of RVs in favor of arbitrary age limits. Even meticulously maintained older models with modern upgrades and pristine exteriors face rejection based solely on their manufacturing date. This approach particularly affects full-time RVers and budget-conscious travelers who depend on finding affordable, welcoming campgrounds for extended stays. RV owners facing these restrictions must make difficult decisions. The obvious solution, purchasing a newer RV is often financially impossible, especially given today's rising RV prices and increased living costs. Some owners attempt costly upgrades to their existing vehicles, while others find themselves limited to a shrinking number of age-friendly campgrounds. These restrictions are reshaping perceptions of RV living. What began as an accessible, flexible lifestyle choice is increasingly being recast as a luxury pursuit reserved for those who can afford new vehicles and premium campground fees. This shift creates a widening divide between those who choose RV life for adventure and those who adopt it out of necessity. Without changes to these policies or continued access to public campgrounds, these age restrictions may discourage new RVers and force current owners to abandon the lifestyle, fundamentally altering the inclusive nature of the RV community. A proposed fee increase at Bureau of Land Management, BLM long-term visitor areas, could drastically affect full-time RVers who depend on these affordable camping options. The plan would raise permit fees from $180 to $600 per vehicle, a 233% increase that threatens to price out many long-term residents. These BLM lands have traditionally served as a financial lifeline for the RV community, particularly during winter months when RVers can stay for extended periods at a fraction of private campground costs. The areas attract a diverse group of residents, from retirees living on fixed incomes to seasonal workers and those embracing minimalist lifestyles. The dramatic fee increase presents RVers with difficult choices. Private campgrounds, which often charge $500 to $1,000 monthly, aren't financially viable for many full-timers. These sites also face high demand and limited availability during peak seasons, making them an unreliable alternative to BLM lands. More concerning is what this increase signals for the future of public camping. These lands have historically provided an accessible option for budget-conscious travelers, but rising costs could transform them into exclusive areas for higher-income campers. This shift could force many RVers to drastically reduce their travel, limit their stays, or abandon the lifestyle entirely. The proposed increase highlights a growing crisis in affordable RV living options, threatening to fundamentally alter a way of life that has long represented freedom and accessibility for many Americans. While RV living often appears to be a money-saving alternative to traditional housing, many newcomers are surprised by the substantial hidden costs that can quickly accumulate. Understanding these expenses is crucial for anyone considering the lifestyle. Maintenance and repairs represent one of the largest ongoing expenses. RVs demand regular upkeep, from basic services like oil changes and tire replacements, to maintaining complex systems like generators and appliances. When problems arise with plumbing, electrical systems, or slide-outs, repairs can cost thousands of dollars, often requiring specialized parts and labor. Fuel expenses can be particularly burdensome, especially for frequent travelers. Large RVs typically get poor fuel economy, and with volatile gas prices, long-distance travel costs can become prohibitive. Many RVers find themselves extending their stays in one location to minimize fuel expenses. Insurance and registration fees often catch owners off guard. RVs, particularly larger models or those with custom features, require specialized insurance policies that can be significantly more expensive than standard vehicle coverage. Registration fees, sometimes based on vehicle weight or value, add to the annual costs. Part-time RVers face additional storage expenses when their vehicles aren't in use. Climate-controlled storage facilities can charge up to $300 monthly, depending on location and RV size. These combined costs can transform what seemed like an affordable lifestyle choice into a significant financial commitment, making careful budgeting essential for sustainable RV living. While social media showcases RV living through filtered photos of mountain sunsets and beachfront camping, the daily reality often tells a different story. The lifestyle presents numerous challenges that rarely make it to Instagram feeds, requiring resilience and adaptability from those who choose it. Isolation poses a significant hurdle, particularly for solo travelers and newcomers to RV life. Despite the freedom of the open road, long periods in remote areas can lead to profound loneliness. Building and maintaining meaningful relationships becomes challenging when constantly moving, and the lack of a stable community can affect mental well-being. Access to essential services creates another layer of difficulty. Healthcare becomes complicated when moving between different regions, often requiring RVers to coordinate care across multiple providers. Internet connectivity, crucial for remote workers, proves unreliable in many camping areas. RVers frequently find themselves choosing between expensive mobile hotspots or struggling with poor campground Wi-Fi. Weather adds its own set of challenges. RVs offer limited protection against extreme temperatures, making both summer heat and winter cold particularly challenging. Running climate control systems continuously drives up costs, while severe weather events can force sudden relocations for safety. The constant movement takes a toll on RVs themselves. Vehicles age faster on the road than in stationary settings, with regular travel causing accelerated wear on everything from appliances to mechanical systems. These maintenance issues not only increase costs, but can disrupt carefully planned travel schedules. These realities paint a more complete picture of RV living, one that includes both the freedom of mobility and the challenges of a nomadic lifestyle. The growing popularity of RV travel is creating new challenges for both campers and public lands, leading to increased regulations that are fundamentally changing how and where people can camp. As more RVers seek outdoor experiences, traditional boondocking, camping without hookups in undeveloped areas, faces mounting restrictions due to environmental concerns. Public lands are showing signs of stress from increased use, with problems ranging from overcrowding and litter to damage to fragile ecosystems. Land management agencies have responded by implementing stricter controls, limiting stay durations, requiring permits, and in some cases, completely prohibiting overnight parking. These changes are pushing more RVers toward developed campgrounds, increasing costs for travelers who previously relied on free or low-cost camping options. Generator use has become another flashpoint. Essential for off-grid camping, generators are increasingly subject to restrictions due to noise and pollution concerns. Many locations now enforce strict quiet hours and generator limitations, making boondocking more challenging for RVers who depend on electrical power for basic needs. The environmental focus is extending to vehicle emissions, with some states considering regulations that could effectively ban older RV models. This development particularly threatens RVers with older vehicles who cannot afford newer, more efficient models. Combined with diminishing access to public lands and rising costs, these environmental pressures are transforming RV travel from an accessible adventure into a more regulated and potentially exclusive pursuit. These changes signal a significant shift in RV culture as environmental protection measures reshape the traditional freedom of the open road. The public perception of RV living has undergone a dramatic transformation in recent years. Once celebrated as a symbol of freedom and adventure, RV life now faces growing stigma, particularly in urban areas where the line between recreational travel and necessity-based vehicle dwelling has become increasingly blurred. Rising housing costs have forced many to turn to RVs as permanent shelter, creating tensions in communities where these vehicles park long-term. This has led cities to implement stricter parking regulations and increased enforcement, affecting all RVers, whether they're full-time travelers passing through or permanent residents. The result is a shrinking number of safe, legal parking options in urban areas. Meanwhile, the RV park industry is becoming increasingly polarized. Many private parks are moving upmarket, offering luxury amenities at premium prices while imposing restrictions on older vehicles and long-term stays. This trend is making it harder to find affordable, welcoming parks that serve the average RVer, creating a widening gap between high-end resort-style camping and basic accommodation needs. The growing divide between luxury RV travel and necessity-based vehicle dwelling is fundamentally changing the RV community's character. What was once a broadly accessible lifestyle choice is increasingly split between two extremes, viewed as a problem in urban areas and marketed as a luxury experience in private parks. This shift threatens the inclusive nature of RV culture and could permanently alter its accessibility for middle-class travelers. As these social attitudes continue to evolve, the future of RV living as an attainable lifestyle choice hangs in the balance. These changes aren't just reshaping RV life, they're redefining an American tradition. In our next video, we're breaking down the wave of new RV regulations hitting states nationwide. What do you think? Are these changes making RVing harder for you? Share your thoughts below. Hit subscribe and let's keep exploring smarter.